The fastest man in the world, maybe the fastest thinker. Anyway, the fastest thinker I have ever met is Vishy Anand, who was a world champion and is one of the greatest players in chess history. And the following took place in 2003 in Middelfart on Fyn in Denmark. And I was the commentator at SIS-MH Master, and Anand was participating because he had started working with Peter Heine Nielsen. The story behind that cooperation is in another video. Anyway, he thought it would be fun to come to Denmark, and he came and beat all the best Danish players. And Peter Heine was also there, and I was the commentator. And he won a great game against Curt Hansen. And after the game, he came out. I was sitting on a podium and playing, telling everybody what was going on and so on. And he started spewing variations at me, and I just couldn't follow him. And I was sitting with my computer and typing in all these lines and asking Fritz, and I couldn't make it. And Fritz had no answers because Anand had just seen further. Oh, that's kind of good, right? And then came another 10 moves, and I was just like trying. My head was exploding, and I met a lot of the best players in the world. Talked to them, Kasparov and Ivanchuk and players like that, and Aronian, Carlsen, but no one like Anand. He's just thinking really fast. He was also known when he was young to play really fast. He usually sometimes he would play a game and use 16 minutes. Anyway, this was the game where afterwards I was a little bit humiliated in front of a live audience by a very fast talking Indian who saw a lot of lines, and I was completely taken back. And by the way, I was not the only one. I'm happy I was not Curt Hansen. Anand is white, is the French defense, and Curt played a lot of different openings, but I think he was much better in the Sicilian. So he should have played his main openings against Anand just to test it. But he liked to surprise people. And this is the Wiener variation. Queen d4. Queen c7 is interesting move. You can do that. The idea behind it is of course if Black plays knight e7, now we'll go back to the main line after queen takes and take, and c takes d4. And this is all, there are a lot of theory there. It's a very strange positions. I don't like them for white, and I don't like them for black. I just think they're a big mess. But for strong tactical players or people who like sort of murky position, it makes a lot of sense to play this kind of way. And I think a guy like Berg from Sweden has had a lot of success with this. But I think nowadays black don't really like this. They think that white is better. And f5 is of course the elegant point behind queen c7 is that that now the pawn is covered. But the thing is, black still has a problem here, and this square here and here, they will all need defending. Knight e7, and here black plays a very interesting move, and maybe wild move. Normal is to take and knight e7, and then black is hoping to play something like this. And if you can exchange the white squared bishop, well, you'll have a better structure than white for sure. So if the dynamics die out, you will win the ending. Knight e7. Okay, he's coming in. And allow white to take the poisoned pawn here. The thing is, usually this pawn would be there. So in this kind of position, and I'm not sure it's to black advantage because f5 does create a lot of weaknesses on the king side. Queen a7, take and take. Yeah, this is the notes from Sakis, and this was a novelty. But Anand had a lot of. I think when he was talking, it felt like he had studied this kind of position, not sort of in a concrete way, but more like he really understood what was going on. And also you could sense that when he was sacrificing pawns, it didn't really feel like a sacrifice to him. Like everyone else is just like, oh, I'm sacrificing a pawn, I gotta have compensation, otherwise I will lose the ending. And then it's just sitting in the hands, it's just flowing out of him, and suddenly comes a long splash of lines. Um, Queen f5, and this is a novelty. Could be a good move. Maybe another move is King d8, and here comes Anand with a typical Anand move, Bishop g5. All this mess in the center, we don't care. We are taking over the black squares and keeping the king here in some sort of trouble. Black will probably have to do what he did, take, because if he takes, we can just see that if he takes here, white will play f4, and black's position actually becomes strategically totally hopeless suddenly. And this is something, it's hard to see, but white will just move the queen and push the h pawn, and you're just dead. This is a total monster here. But the black squares are a problem, and this is of course the idea, getting the bishop out here, queen e7, and here we see another move, and I think it's easy for a player like Anand to play this move, whereas for mere mortals like me, who didn't grow up on dynamic steroids, this would be very difficult to find. So what do white do here? What does he do? He played h4. So this one is safe now, for sure. But also, there is a plan. Rup, coming here. And there's no attack in the h file and so on. Take here. And then decides that, okay, my king is safe. And by the way, your king is not safe, because due to this bishop, you're not going to castle queenside. If you could castle queenside, we'll have a game, but you're not going to. Rook d1. Maybe here he should play something different than what he did. Because after this, here, the idea is h5. And maybe you should just allow it and play knight e5 and say, okay, at least I get my knight away from this horrible square. And instead comes e5. And here we see another great move by Anand. And by the way, I think he just sees the world in a different way here, because it's just like he's seeing diagonals going back and forth, and I'm seeing these two pawns coming, charging up the board, and I might get swamped into them in a little while. And Anand, well, no problem, queen d5. White squares. We are waiting for this strong little man to come out and do some real damage, and then we'll kill you on the white squares. We already have the black squares under complete control here. And it doesn't end here, because white keeps on being dynamic. Queen d6. And he's simply playing on attacking dynamics and domination. And here I think Curt was already tired, even though it was a rapid game. But seeing this kind of maneuvers, and probably, I think Curt, who's a classical and very strong player, he was the World Junior Championship winner in '84, where he actually played Anand, and it was a draw. Anand was 16 at the time, I think. I think Curt didn't see any of this ideas, h4 and just letting these pawns come rolling and just moving in. He first the king to the queen, the queen to the king side, and then the center, and with all the pieces down here, and in a moment he's just finished because white will start a violent attack. So here comes bishop d7, and I'm sure Curt didn't see this move. He was simply, whoa, what happened here? Or maybe he did see it and prepared this move. But the thing is, it keeps this rook out, and after this move and this, yeah, we have Sakis showing the great way the queen took here, and here there is, well, there are problems. There are serious problems. And I don't know how you think you can defend this with the bishops and no coordination. And Anand played all these moves pretty fast. It's just like, okay, I can do this. I can do this. That looked good. And Curt was of course sitting so, oh, what's going on? But basically, white is just winning now. So we had to prevent the check. Opening up more files. This might be a threat, but and of course you can't take with the knight. Then come queen d8, check. Check with the queen, and comes queen d7, check. You can't move the knight. Then comes e6. So it's and what to do here? Well, you probably know the answer. Boom. Attacking the queen. Of course, bishop e6 is met by not rook d8 but queen d8, right? So with mate here and game over. So he has to take, king takes, queen, and the king is completely defenseless now. King e8, queen d7, and here he resigned. I think queen d6 was simpler, and then rook f1. And this is of course lost. So he will be mated. Anyway, this was Vishy Anand, and I must admit I was extremely impressed by Anand's way of showing lines and just flashing them out. It was a great day. It was mind-blowing just to see how fast you can think about chess if you're that good. And also, I realized that, okay, even I started late as a chess player, but if I had started early as a chess player, I would still not have gotten to this, because my brain is simply not wired that way to be so fast. By the way, it's a forced mate here unless he takes the rook. You can probably see that with queen e8 and bishop f6. This was another episode of GM Talks with the amazing Indian world champion Viswanathan, or Vishy, which is never easy to say, Anand, killing Curt Hansen in a great game. And it was a rapid game, but it's one of my favorite games from Vishy Anand. Thank you for watching.